They got a bunch of activities for us to do. Went to Dave and Buster's, and we actually practiced at the Atlanta Falcons indoor facility yesterday, which is pretty neat. So it's been an awesome experience so far, and have a couple more days in store for us. So we're just looking to have a good time.
Go ahead, Cliff. Well, so far, like Pat was saying, each day, they got something lined up for us to do, and so far, it's been a great experience. It's brought us together closer as a team. We're getting together, just associating with each other and coming together stronger as a team.
Yeah, we've had a good week thus far, and all of our players have been pretty much well behaved. We've had no curfew violators, so everything's on schedule. Had a pretty good practice yesterday in the Georgia Dome, and in the Atlanta Falcon practice dome up there, all the way up in Flowery Branch, Georgia, which is about 45 miles from here. And then we're here in the Georgia Dome the rest of the week. So looking forward to the game, and hopefully our team will play very well. We didn't play very well last time we were in here, we know, but we're going to try to finish up our year as strongly as we can against a very good Florida State team.
All right, we'll go ahead with questions right here in the back.
Coach, does it give your team any kind of advantage having just played here in the Dome?
Yeah, I don't really think so. We didn't play very well, that's for sure, so we don't have too many great fond memories of the last game. But again, I think it's neat that we are playing here. This is a big-time stage for college football, the SEC championship game every year, and the preseason game that Chick-fil-A sponsors also. And I know a lot of teams look forward to opening college football with the game that's here also. So Georgia Dome is, like I said, a big-time arena for college football as well as NFL football, and we're fired up to be here and have a chance to play in it again.
Right here.
Coach, how is Garrett Chisholm expected to be able to practice indoor play?
Chiz said he's going to try to run around and do some more today. He hasn't done anything yet. He's got a sprained knee. Ligament is not torn completely. So I got a feeling he'll suit up Friday night and give it his best shot and see what he can do.
Question right here.
Coach, you obviously played against some of the best Florida State teams Florida State's ever had. Looking at them on film, athletically, any comparisons still with?
I was listening to Coach Bowden speak at the FCA breakfast this morning, and a lot of people don't realize how good those teams were. I think 14 straight years they were in the top 4 in the nation. Top 4 in the nation. That means they lost one game, or they could have won national championship every one of those years. And to think that I think they played Miami 5 or 6 one-point games, and Miami won every one of them. So he's been a tough luck coach. I mean, that guy and the teams he put together at FSU, they were as good as any in the country for about 10, 12, 14 years there in a row. It's amazing to be top 4 in the nation. He won his bowl game every year. I think we beat him in '96. It's first he'd won 11 in a row prior to that. So amazing record that Bobby Bowden's had, and again, I think he's a little bit of an unlucky coach as far as only having 2 national championships when he could have had 7 or 8 of them.
All right, if you could, please remember to speak up.
What was your question now?
Sorry.
Well, and then just, does this team compare at all? They haven't had that success.
Well, our team and their team is very similar, not only record-wise, and we both lost the championship game. We won our division with 5-3 record, same record. If you look at the stats, I just happen to sort of look at them, comparison, rushing yards, passing yards, all that kind of stuff. Pretty even, first downs and all that. So if everything follows, if there's not a lot of turnovers or big special team plays, could be a very close game.
Please remember to speak up just a little bit so everybody can hear your questions, please, right here.
Steve, is that Sugar Bowl game your best memory against them?
Oh, it's the biggest win for any team I've coached since it was a national championship. But all the SEC championships were certainly just a tiny bit below the national championship. But obviously over them it was the biggest one. But there were some other good ones here and there. But that was the most important one since it was for all the marbles. And again, they were not in the SEC. Again, it's the first time I've ever won a game after clinching a division and beat the in-state opponent. I think Ron Morris picked it out that every year in Florida that we won the division, we would lose to FSU, but then come back and win the conference championship. So they had very good teams all through those 90 up till about 2001 or 2 there. I think that they started a little downslide. But anyway, that's why that victory over Clemson was very, very special for a lot of reasons. And teams that win their division and have a big in-state rival. Of course, FSU beat Florida also, so they did it same thing we did.
Okay, right here.
What was it like to see, obviously?
No, I've seen him around a bit. Yeah, I've seen him around here, there, and the other over the years. And yeah, we're always friendly to each other and so forth. Yeah, he's a well-respected man, and his coaching record was really something. And again, I think he's one of the unluckiest coaches because the teams he had that could have won it all so many times.
Right here.
Cliff and Patrick, I know in the past couple of years you guys have been in bowl games. It seems like you've had some trouble, whether it's the opponent or the game or whatever, but motivation to being ready has been something of a problem. What kind of, you getting sort of different vibe or sense of how you guys are preparing for this game as opposed to the last two?
Well, previous years, we've been ready to play, but the other team, they out executed us, and they just beat us that day.
Yeah, I feel like as a team this year we're a lot closer. The relationships we built with our teammates and stuff are a lot more dependable, and we can really count on each other to go out there and perform well.
Right here.
Both of you guys, well, you guys got a chance to win 10 this season, which has only been done before once in school history. Have you guys been hearing about the last time it happened in 1984? Have you been looking up at that during this week or past couple of weeks?
Yeah, I mean, we've heard it. Coaches reminded us a few times about it, and it'd definitely be an honor being our senior years to go out and win 10 games and be regarded as one of the best teams ever at the University of South Carolina.
Like Patrick was saying, Coach has been reminding us every day about that team that won 10 wins, and we got an opportunity, to win 10 wins, and we just got to take advantage of it.
Right here.
Steve, I know the last 2 bowl games you were disappointed in the performance, and you've done some things this time, you said, a little different in preparing. Have you got a feel at this stage of preparation about how this team might play Friday?
Not really. I thought we were going to play pretty well against Auburn too, and we didn't do very well that night. But yeah, like Cliff and Patrick said, the last 2 games we thought we were ready to compete, but obviously sometimes when maybe your offensive line and your quarterback have a tough day, and your defense plays so-so. We didn't play terrible defense, I don't think, the last 2 bowl games. But we just got beat by teams that were much better than us that day. Simple as that. We got beat. We thought we were ready to play, but the way we played, it appeared we weren't. But anyway, we have no excuses. And we're looking forward to the game here Friday night. FSU is a very good team. They're going to come to play. Jimbo Fisher's in his first year. They got a lot of momentum going. The guys are fired up, pumped up, the coaching staff. So we got to really play well. And the games we've won this year, we did play well. Some of our biggest wins, Alabama, Florida, Clemson, I think we had 1 turnover in all 3 of those games. 1 in the Alabama game and none Florida and Clemson, and very few penalties, things like that. So we're hoping to play that well. We know we won't play a perfect game, but we've got to play very well to give ourselves a chance.
Right here.
Steve, you mentioned you were going to make some changes this time around.
We did a little bit of changes. Probably went a little bit more. First team gets first defense and so forth. We bumped heads a little bit more. There's only so much you can do. A lot of bowl teams don't do as much practicing as a lot of people think. In the old days, we'd say, well, we've got a whole month to practice and get the young guys ready to go and so forth. But they're usually taking tests or this, that, and the other. And you can only practice so long. Sometimes you can over-practice, I think. So you try to do it just right. You try to not overdo it or underdo it. You try to hit it just right. But the main thing is a group of players that really want to play and play the game well. That's what we're going to try to do.
Have you changed like curfew or anything like that?
No, not particularly curfew or anything. Now, again, our problems the last 2 games have not been preparation, in my opinion.
Over here on the side.
Steve, how much stock do you put in the 10-win plateau, and is it something that you took for granted at Florida? How important do you think it is for this program?
Oh, it's very important. Very important if we could somehow or another get 10 wins, but that's would be a byproduct of us playing well. We don't need to really. I mean, we've already talked about it. We talked about trying to win the SEC, and we also talked about winning the Eastern Division. We accomplished one of them. I think you have to talk about it briefly, but to achieve it, you got to go play the game and play it very well. So that's what we're trying to concentrate on right now through the end of the game Friday night, is what we can do to give ourselves the best chance to beat FSU.
Back right here.
Cliff, Florida State's played 2 quarterbacks, obviously, and they still haven't said what the plan is going to be for this game. Do they change offensively depending on which quarterback's in the game, or do they look like the same team?
Well, either quarterback they play, we're going to be prepared for them, so we have it in our game plan for whatever quarterback will start. They got a really good O-line. I think most of them made the all ACC teams, so that says a lot about them.
Right here.
I don't know what a piece about Kyle Nunn. You're a guy that plays on the field at the same time with. How's he developed over the years?
He's come a long way. He came in really big and real massive, but he wasn't real strong. And he's worked really hard. He's focused in on and really he's known what he's needed to work on. He's really worked on it hard, and he's developed a lot on the field too. If the guy next to him doesn't know exactly what they're doing, he fully understands what's going on and helps him out. So he's matured a lot.
Okay, right here in front.
Coach Spurrier, you've been a part of the bowl process as a player, as a coach. What is it that makes the bowl experience special as a coach and as players?
Well, the bowl experience is different from anything we do all year. All year you're at home, you're going to class, either get on the airplane or get on the bus. So it's a usual routine that we're all very accustomed to. The bowl game, usually about a month before you play. So you try to balance it between practice and whatever else you got to do. But there's a lot of free time for the players. The 2 weeks we practice it at home, and then here there's a little bit of free time, not that much. But it's just a chance for our players to see other parts of the country, play in different arenas and so forth, stadiums, and to play some different teams. So again, no, it's another game to the season, and it's different. It's sort of a unique experience for all the guys and coaches and fans. So, and I like the idea of trying to play in different bowls, although we'd prefer going to the Sugar Bowl every year. That should be the goal of just about every SEC team. So anyway, if you don't go to that one, it's good to try to, I think, have your players go to several during their career. I think, how many you been to, Patrick, now?
This is my 3rd one.
3rd one, yeah. The year we were 6-6, we got edged out of getting the bid that year. But anyway, it's a good experience for the players.
How about for the players now? What's the bowling experience been like to you guys?
It's fun. I mean, there's a lot of activities, and it's like Coach said, it's going somewhere else and kind of getting in a new environment. And really, I mean, I've been to Atlanta when I was younger, but I never experienced it being 20, 19 years old. So it's different and it's fun, and it's just getting to see a new city.
Yeah, it's fun. You just getting new experiences, especially if you haven't been out of the state of South Carolina. So if you go to different places like Tampa or Atlanta, it's just a different. Environment.
Right here.
Patrick, can you talk for a second about being a part of this running back group and your coaches this year?
I mean, Marcus is really something special. He just sees the field sees the field really well, and I mean, gaps that aren't really there when the play starts, he sits there and he's patient enough and waits for it to open up, and makes my life a lot easier blocking wise. I don't have to go in there and really make a great, fantastic block because he's good at adjusting to whatever happens. And I mean, he's special. He's a really good kid too. So it's been an honor to block for him this year.
Right here.
Coach, back to when Bob Stoops was on your staff, did you get to know Mark Stoops at all back then? I know he's younger. And also, do you see anything in their defense that reminds you at all of what the Stoopses have done defensively?
Oh, a little bit, not a lot. I think Mark's got his own personality into the defense. But Mark actually coached with my son Steve Jr. at Arizona a year. So they go back and they maintain contacts. I think they got each other's cell numbers and all that kind of stuff. So they're good friends. So anyway, it'll be sort of neat going against Mark. Of course, Mark went against his brother Bobby earlier this year. So that was a little unique experience there. But anyway, after the game starts, you know, it's our team, their team. We're all shooting for the same thing.
Right here, right.
Steve, is your punt coverage good enough that you can kick to Greg Reed?
Probably not, or a kickoff coverage. And we've got to really cover if we're going to have a chance to beat these guys. We're not going to just punt it 50 yards down the field and say, hey, fellas, see if you can cover that guy. You know, I think Florida State led the nation in punt returns last year, and this year they're up there. I'm not exactly sure where, but they're very good on returns. Got great team speed, tremendous team speed. So we're going to try to be smart. We're not going to kick that perfect return ball, I hope, and try to eliminate returns.
Ken?
Coach, I know he's not a starter, but can you talk about the development of Connor Shaw over since he got here last year?
Yeah, Connor's done well. Yeah, for a true freshman, he's played a little bit here and there. And at one time, we thought he might play more than he's ended up playing. Steven Garcia played very well most of the season. He's had a lot of very good games. And hopefully he will have a good one here Friday night. But Connor, he'll be ready to compete for a lot more playing time next year, and we'll see how it goes. But he's had a good freshman year.
Yeah, right here.
Patrick, how much do you guys hear about the 1984 team as the only team to win double-digit victories? Is it kind of the standard that you feel like you're measured against since you got here?
I mean, I didn't really know much about it until this year. I mean, that's definitely a team that's put on a pedestal around here. It's definitely one of the best teams that's ever played here. So, I mean, going into this year, as we had a couple big wins and everything, we've kind of realized that we had the talent to maybe do what they did. So, we've kind of looked at it a little bit, but we're just trying to go out there and play well every game and try to get the wins.
Did you guys know that team also beat Florida State? Does that come up this week?
I didn't know that.
We didn't know that. That's right. South Carolina used to play Florida State. We were both independents back then. Yeah, two independent schools. Had to have somebody to play. Yeah.
Back here.
That's for both Patrick. It looks, just from looking at 2 deep, it seems like a young team. I'm curious for you guys as seniors, do you sometimes feel kind of like you're the elder statesman and you've got kids running around a little bit?
No, I'd say for the most part, our team's pretty mature. We've done everything we need to do this year. We've played well, and even the young guys are coming here and stepped up and taking key roles. I mean, we had a lot of freshmen and sophomores playing this year, and we wouldn't be where we are without them. So, I mean, they came in and they did what they needed to do.
I don't know how to answer your question. I really didn't understand it.
Can you talk about just, does it feel to you like a young team, younger kids that are not quite seniors yet and maybe are learning their way a little bit?
Well, we have a lot of young players on the team, but they're really mature, young individuals, and it's going to be a special next couple of years for them.
Right here.
Steve, what is Spencer Lanning done to this team the last 2 or 3 years to become a captain?
Well, Spence was voted captain because of his probably summer conditioning, his workouts, year-round, and all that. And he's a great, wonderful team player. Excellent punter, and his kicking has been very good. Of course, I think his best games were probably the Florida and the Clemson game. He made 6 of 7 field goals in those games, and several of them were 40-yarders, I know. So anyway, Spence, we're going to miss Spence, and hopefully Jay Wooten can fill in the kicking next year and maybe even the punting. But yes, Spencer Lanning has been a very solid player for us last 2-3 years.
Okay, time for a few more, right here, Ray.
Steve, do you watch any tape of Florida State offense? Do you have any opinion?
No, I don't
on
watch a
it?
lot of their offense. Mostly their defense is what I've been watching. But I know they're very balanced, and Jimbo Fisher does a super job with the offense over there, and they're a balanced offense.
What do you make of Ponder?
Oh, I think he's a tremendous talent. Yeah, I like Christian Ponder. He can run around too. That's why I don't think there's a huge difference when their quarterbacks are in there. They both can go. So nowadays, if your quarterback can't run, it's unusual almost. So he's a very good player. Christian Ponder had a tremendous career there.
Right here.
Steve, you look at this calendar year and you go back to your winter workout, you talked about 100% participation, and you've avoided any off-the-field problems or academic issues. Everybody's eligible for this. And you win your division, you play for the SEC title. Is this a year where you think your program kind of turned the corner now? Are you satisfied that you've done that?
Oh, you never reach where you're trying to go, but we did accomplish some firsts this year, and if we're fortunate to get 10 wins, that would be another tied for first with one other team in school history. But anyway, Eastern Division, and beating Clemson back-to-back, beating Alabama. We've had some really good games, but unfortunately we've had some sorry ones too. So we're not any big dominant team right now. I would love to have about 6 guys make preseason all SEC before the season starts some year. And I say, man, them guys are loaded over at South Carolina. But that hasn't happened yet. So we're still in the process of building, recruiting, and trying to put a really strong team out there. But this team has really, like I said, played extremely well. I think we've maximized the talent on our team a lot of games this year. And in some games we didn't play well at all. But anyway, this has been a very good year for us thus far, and hopefully we can finish.
Right here.
Patrick, from watching film on Florida State, do they compare to anybody that's played in terms of what they did team-wise or anything to draw upon?
They're a pretty balanced defense. They're really athletic, just like most of the other defenses we play in the SEC. So it's pretty similar. I mean, defensive-wise. So we should be able to hold our own out there and really understand what's going on, because we've seen just about everything through 13 games so far this year.
All right, time for just a couple more. Final questions right here.
Coach, I know the running side of your game has kind of been overlooked over the years, but it seems like in this year even you've run the ball even more than you have. When did you know that was going to happen, that you were going to have that emphasis?
Well, we knew we probably needed to run more than we threw, because that's just the way our team is sort of built. Our pass protection at times is not real great, and sometimes our quarterback gets sacked a lot last year, as y'all know, and a lot of bad things happened when we tried to throw 30 or 40 times a game. And probably the Georgia game, when we started handing off to Marcus over and over again and found out he could break tackles and run up in there for about 8 yards. Seemed like 6-8 yards most times, and we got an early lead on him, and our defense was playing super. So that's when we said, man, that might be a pretty good formula, is to run it and let our defense play very well on special teams, and throw when we needed to. And obviously you can't run every play. Alshon Jeffries had an All-American season at wide receiver. So yeah, we're better off if we get a chance to run it 40 or 50 times and throw it 25, 30 times. That's what our team's best built to do.
Okay, final question, please, right here.
Does it spark anything inside you to play Florida State as opposed to, say, UConn, just because of your history?
No, it was, last time I played against Florida State, I guess, was 2001. But yeah, it was a long time ago. It's a different group of guys here. Jimbo Fisher, I think maybe 1 or 2 assistants are still here. But it's a whole different scenario. It really is a whole different. I guess when they start playing that song, or their Indian chant, na 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 na, then I'll say, oh, God, I had to hear that. I got to hear that all night again. I hope we don't have to hear it all night. That means we're playing well if we don't have to hear that all night.
All right, that'll do it. Gentlemen, thanks so much. We appreciate your time. We'll let you go.